Hi there, I'm Claire from english-at-home.com. People often ask me how they can write business letters and emails. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can start a letter and an email and how you can end it. And I'm also going to show you the most typical mistakes to avoid. But before we start, if you're new to my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and that way you get a notification every time I make a new video. So if you would like more free English, you can click here to subscribe. Okay, so let's start with business emails because they're much more common than business letters. And how you start your email depends on how formal the situation is and how well you know the other person. And there are 3 ways that we generally start a business email. Hi plus first name. So if it's someone you know well, so a client or a colleague, you can just write hi and the person's first name. So, hi Claire. Number 2, dear. So if you don't know someone that well, you can start your email with dear. Now with dear, there are 3 things you can do. You can say dear and the first name, so dear Claire. Or the second thing you can do is you can write dear plus the first name and the last name. So for example, dear David Jones. Or the third thing you can do is start with dear and then the title and the surname. The title is going to be Mr. or Ms. So for example, dear Mr. Jones. Now, here are 2 mistakes you should avoid. The first one, don't write dear followed by the title and then by the first name. So don't write, for example, dear Mr. David. You would write dear Mr. Jones if Jones is the surname, but you don't write dear plus title and then the first name. The second mistake you should avoid is actually using the word miss as a title. In business, you would hardly ever write miss unless you know that the woman is not married. For the same reason, if you know that the woman is married, you can write Mrs. But generally speaking, people will write MS, so dear Ms. Jones. This MS, Ms, is like saying Mr, only obviously Ms is for women and Mr is for men. No greeting. You can even start your email with no greeting at all, and we'll often do this if we're replying to a quick question or if we know the person very well. So here's an example. So you get an email that says, "Hi Jane, do you know the time of the marketing meeting tomorrow? Thanks, Sue." And you reply, "At 10 a.m. boardroom, Jane." So here are some ways that we can end business emails. You can write best wishes. You can write kind regards. You can write thanks. And in British English, you can also write cheers. Cheers kind of means thank you and goodbye. And this is another mistake to avoid. Don't write bye at the end of your business email. You might write, for example, bye for now in an email to a friend, but if you write bye in a business email, it just looks unprofessional. Okay, so now let's move on to business letters. How you start and end your business letter depends on how formal the situation is, and it depends on if you know who the other person is. So all these ways to start a business letter apply to British English. And here is the first way. Dear Mr., dear Ms, and the surname. End, yours sincerely. This is the most common way to start a business letter. So you write dear and the title, dear Mr., dear Ms, and then the surname. And then you always end it with yours sincerely. You can also put a comma after the name. So for example, dear Mr. Jones, comma. Make sure if you put the comma after the name, you also put the comma after sincerely. So dear Mr. Jones, comma, and then you end the letter, yours sincerely, comma, and then your name. Dear Sir, Madam, yours faithfully. We write Dear Sir, Madam when we don't know who we're writing to, so we don't know the person's name, and we don't know if the person is a man or a woman. So for example, if you're applying for a job or if you're writing to someone in the customer care department of a company, you would start your letter Dear Sir, Madam and end your letter Yours faithfully. You can also put a comma after Madam, and if you do that, make sure to also put a comma after faithfully. Now, another mistake to avoid is to write Dear Sir or Dear Sirs. You don't know that the person you're writing to is a man, so it just looks a little bit old-fashioned and sexist to write Dear Sir, Dear Sirs. So remember, Dear Sir, Madam, Yours faithfully. Number 3, to whom it may concern. To whom it may concern is the least common way of starting a business letter, and we write it when we know that our letter will be seen by lots of different people. For example, someone asks you to write a reference for them, so they're applying for a job and they want you to write a letter of reference. And you know that they will take this letter and show it to lots of other people. So a letter of reference might look something like this. To whom it may concern. Joe Bloggs has worked in this company for 10 years as a sales representative. His work has been excellent and blah, blah, blah. And then you end the letter Yours faithfully. By the way, Joe Bloggs is the name that we give when we want to give an example of a person. So that's how you start business letters and emails, but how do you continue them? Check out this link for lots of ways to do this. And in the description box, there's also a link to my book on business letters, reports, and emails. It's got lots of help and lots of phrases for business correspondence. Thanks for watching. For more free English, you can subscribe to my channel, you can check out another video, and you can also leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Bye.